What's happening? Having some technical things here on the Facebook, trying to get it off of the app here and onto desktop. So bear with me a quick second. I'm just going to comment on that post. So anybody that's in there, go to my page directly. Scheduled link difficulty. Live now. All right. Well, cool. So let me get this pulled up here so I can also see any comments and such. Where are we at? Where are we at? Am I showing up as live in the feed here? There we go. There we go. All right, cool. Oh boy, I can hear myself. I'm going to have a little loop through. All right, Dimitri, what's going on? All right, so Facebook. All right, there we go. Now I can see everything. Cool. Dimitri, right? Dimitri, yeah, that's it. Welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. How many employees do I have? We have over 30 people here full-time in New York City. We just opened up a location in South Florida, and we are starting to hire down there. We have a few people on the ground there. Also have a satellite office in Louisiana. My boy Steve works remote from there. And so we have, I guess in total, really closer to 40 people. And then we really scale up freelance for specific projects, a lot of IT stuff, and especially like crew for production. We do a lot of that. So we have like creative directors, creative people in-house, cinematographers in-house, but like lighting guys, grips, that kind of stuff is all freelance. So last year when like payroll totaled out, we employed like 110 people, but a lot of those people were like on a freelance basis and not in the office. So 30 to 40 peeps full time. Pretty cool, man. I think this actually is the first time I've done Facebook Live. I've done a lot of Instagram Live, which is cool. But I don't think I have done a whole lot of Facebook Live. Brianne, welcome. Dimitri, Hank, Norman is up in here. What's up? What's up? And then Peter, thanks for joining, guys. Really, really cool. Look, while you guys are thinking of any questions you want to ask, business-related, marketing-related, entrepreneurship-related, there's some stuff that's kind of Rakesh, welcome. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining. So there's a couple of things that are on my mind right off the gate, and one of the things I find actually as being a younger, growing, fast-growing agency trying to get to 100 million plus because we really see what works. One of the biggest challenges we face actually is the legacy of how it has been and what people are comfortable with. For example, where we'll sign a client on board, they're super pumped, super excited to say like, all right, great, we get it. You guys are totally different. You look at things totally differently. Our old agency, they've been doing the same old stuff. They've been buying as print ads and radio for the last 15 years. Clearly none of it works. We get that you guys get it. But then the biggest challenge that we have is then once we actually get into the weeds and start executing on that, people, whether it's CXO level, the board of directors, who might be people who have been around for quite a long time and don't even have a Facebook account, don't even know what Snapchat is, they start to get a little bit nervous. And so, hey, you know what, why don't we not do that really complex, cool, exciting thing that we were going to do? Let's maybe go back to some of that radio stuff we've been doing. And on the one end, I'm empathetic towards brands, clients, people, marketers that think that way, because I get it. It's hard to think differently. You're used to seeing certain metrics. You're used to reporting back to other people certain ways. But at the end of the day, you're not helping yourself, right? And I get that there's a big leap of faith when you have done something for 20, 30, 50 years, and all of a sudden it's different. But you got to take a leap of faith at some point, right? Like doing the same old stuff, doing those radio ads, doing that print, it's not getting you results, and you know it. And so at the end of the day, like whether we're talking about marketing, business, or just anything in general, I say it's like, look, you're going to have to take some risk. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to make the other people that you work for, work below you, work above you, uncomfortable, and say, listen, it's not going to look like it always has. It's not going to feel like it always has. And that's going to be uncomfortable for a little while. But if we want the results, if we want the success, we're going to have to get okay with being uncomfortable. So that's just something that's on the top of my mind. A bunch of you have joined. Thank you so much. Opramit, thanks for joining. Hussein, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. Sorry about that, but great to hear her. Thank you so much. Quotes are inspiring. You're welcome. Joel, what's up, my man? Thanks for joining in. Michael Perez, has Gary Vee influenced you at all? Of course. Right? Gary Vee's a loud voice in this industry, and he got it early on, and he's one of the people that have really spoken up early for the last 7 years or so, talking about how digital, social is changing e-commerce. And I think a lot of people in our industry, especially advertising, are afraid to say those things. So I think Gary was really like the first fresh voice, and I respect the dude a lot. I mean, he's built a massive empire. I have a lot of good friends that do business with Gary directly, that work over at Vayner. We cross paths, man. We're both in New York City. It's a small industry, but he's a smart dude. So of course it influences some of the stuff that we've done in the long run, because look, he gets it. So do a lot of other people that I follow. I think it's just really paying attention to the people that are doing things differently, like Gary and a bunch of other folks. So, yeah, short answer. Brienne Salzer, thanks for jumping in. Stuck in their ways, don't want to share information don't want to share information. It's not that people and brands don't want to share information. It's that they get excited to do something different, and then they start slowly reverting back to the way it was because it's more comfortable to do so. But I can parallel that in like real life. Forget marketing, forget branding, forget businesses. Like, I think that's how a lot of people just generally operate, right? It's like, yeah, I'm going to go lose 50 pounds. I'm going to do it. They hit the gym, they get all excited, and then it's hard and it doesn't feel good. So 5 days a week turns to 3 days a week, turns to 2, turns to you're eating cheeseburgers again on your couch, right? Because it's more comfortable to do so. I think it's just human nature. So I'm empathetic towards it, but it's a challenge for sure when it comes to business. Let's see. Dave Casey, have you ever thought about writing a book? I would totally buy it. Dave? Yes, and I don't want to talk about too much, but you might have something to look forward to at some point. No timeline on that, but yes. Meg, what's up, Meg? Thanks for jumping in. How do you prove ROI of social and content of your clients? A lot of clients have trouble connecting engagement to their bottom line or the business goals. Okay, there's a big difference between organic media and paid media. Paid media on, let's say, Facebook or Instagram is directly trackable, directly attributable, right? You clearly know if it works or if it doesn't. When you're doing organic stuff, meaning it's not paid, it's not promoted, you're just putting stuff on Facebook and on Instagram, it's a little bit more difficult because you're building relationships. But when you actually put in that level of work and you're communicating people on a one-to-one basis, you're putting out interesting content that people want to watch, that they're going to come back and see, then you build relationships and you can see who sticks around, who follows, who likes your content, who shares your content. You're building super fans. So in the short run, it's a lot more labor intensive, might even be cost intensive up front. But in the long run, do you want 10,000 people that know you exist, or do you want 1,000 people that would like do anything you asked? I'd rather the 1,000, right? So it's about, it's about engagement level on a personal level with those people. So that's how I prove ROI, is like looking at like, what are the engagement rates? And I don't mean like likes of a post. I mean, wow, we started off and only 1 or 2 people would comment on our posts. And now we have 50 people who share them every day. They buy stuff. We can track them. They've turned into influencers. They post images about our product. I would track it that way. It's hard because clients typically want something tangible, like, oh, well, what was the CPM cost? And it's not a tangible exactly, right? So it takes a little bit of human effort, a human IP, to really figure out like what is actually working and what's not. On the paid side, it's pretty obvious. It's direct. Joel, what's up, Joel Kelman? What is one thing that's influenced you or about you that we cannot find in your bio or your site? That's a good one, right? I just put out a video. I don't know if you saw it, like a couple of hours ago, where I really get a little bit personal about when my dad passed away when I was 17 and how that's very much influenced me to really push myself to do what I want to do, because time is not guaranteed. We are lucky every day that we wake up and we can breathe. So that's been a big influence for me. But if you have watched that video, obviously that's nothing new. Here, I'll give you 2 recent ones, actually. I'll give you which is on the internet, but I don't think a lot of people that are on here have seen it. When I got a chance to sit down with Grant Cardone, it was like a punch to the throat, where he really put in perspective like how hard I've worked for the last 16, 18 years. And even though in the grand scheme of things we're, comparison to most businesses, we're pretty successful, but the comparison to like being a real player in the game, we're still tiny and vulnerable. And so he kind of like punched me in the throat verbally with that and put it in perspective, which is one of the reasons I'm doing all this content. And then through that, around the other side of that has been Hank Norman, who's been a massive influence to me recently in the last couple of months, really giving me the confidence to say shit for real and put my story out there and know that I'm going to get the haters and know that, I'm going to say stuff that people don't like, and just being honest and being able to talk like this, which is just like for real and it's not scripted. I think if anybody is like in the personal branding space or has a big business and like looking to blow it up from a personal perspective, like putting your face and name out there, dude, you got to look up Hank Norman. He's the dude. Michael Perez, some pointers he's been saying for years. Who's saying, I'm really looking at a way to get first B2B client, doing some hustle, connecting with people, doing some social stuff. I need more context. Who's saying what kind of B2B business and what kind of clients? Bob, welcome, Bob. Run out of home firm, advertising firm, golf firm. Preaches about results and connecting advertisers, truly qualified customers, golfers. How do you convert new clients from traditional buys into something new? We struggle to convert advertisers from traditional media to our platforms. You got to show the results, right? You got to be like, look, here is someone that came in the door from traditional. Here's what we did that was different. And then here was the result that they get. Get a testimonial from them as well. At the end of the day, if you can say like, look, somebody just like you used to do this. They started working with us. Now they do this and they get different results. That's your pitch. Joel, how many clients do you manage outside of the sports world? We probably do like, right now it's like 70-30 split, like 70 are somewhat related to sports in some way, shape, or form. 30 have nothing to do with sports. Okay, Mike, what's up, Mike? How do you sell for your clients on Facebook and Instagram? Paid advertising on Facebook and Instagram, like super hyper-targeted, using data science, tracking it in real time, micro-targeting, micro-content that is targeted to the right people, that tells a bit of a story. Like, for example, showing a video to 1 million people. I don't give a shit about the 1 million people. I want the 100,000 of those people that have completed the video, that have obviously shown a lot of interest in the product or the company. Then I'm going to take those 100,000, I'm going to market to them with other content, drive them down the funnel further, get them to read blog posts, engage with other posts, watch other videos, and then track how engaged they are. And then the right moment at the right time, boom, buy my stuff. It works. JKR, what's going on, man? When are you planning to come to India? Oh, man, I would love to actually visit there. I have never been. I love travel, man, so hopefully someday soon. Joel, what's your favorite tool? Suggest small, medium-sized business for growing leads list and automation. HubSpot for automation, HubSpot for CRM, leads list, LinkedIn. Just like old school, reaching out to people. Cameron, are you hiring? Yes, but nothing that's like super broad right now. We're pretty far down the people in like the core team that we just brought 8 new people on board. So we don't have anything that's like super lined up right this second, but yeah, we are hiring in the long term. We're continuing to grow. We hit 100 million, man. We're going to be a lot bigger than we are right now when we do. Okay, Hussein is clarified. B2B, around project management related to consulting services. Consulting and coaching services ultimately make an online course. So let me just see what your original question was. B2B clients. Okay, so B2B clients, you're looking to gain B2B clients around project management related to consulting. So I would start with, first of all, if you've done it before, if you've consulted before, if you worked with other businesses in any regard that is related to what you do now, I would go to them first. Maybe they need your new service. If they don't, or if they're already a client, then I would ask them for a referral. Referrals are going to be one of your like fastest growing, easiest, lowest hanging fruit for B2B business, right? So call up anyone that you know that's in the industry that is B2B, that you've worked with, have a relationship with, and just ask them, be like, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing right now. It may or may not be right for you, but can you do me a favor? Give me 1 or 2 people right now that you think would be a really good fit for what I'm doing for my consulting service. And don't let them hesitate and hedge on that and say, let me think about it. I'll get back to you later. Press them. Be like, listen, dude, you're not going to have time. You're not going to get back to me later. Just give me the first name of somebody that comes off the top of your head and make sure they give it to you right then and there. Then call that person and say, hey, so-and-so, who's a client of mine or a friend of mine, just recommended I call you about what I'm doing. So you're starting off a little bit warm. That definitely works for B2B. Sean Middleton, what's up, Sean? First of all, I found your story inspiring. Thanks for sharing. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. What would you say are vital things to consider in turning website traffic into actual customers? Well, I need more context there too, Sean. What is the website, and or like who are the customers? Like what are you trying to get them to buy? That's going to be helpful for me to give you some advice there. Timothy McGee, what's up, Tim? Growing a new style gym besides digital, what are useful tools to grow? The clients are because we are in Florida, which is a seasonable market. Yeah, so obviously social, number one. And yeah, you should do organic. It's obviously super important, but I'm actually more, I actually am more, I guess, bullish on the paid side, because like the organic reach, even if you do a really great job, is still pretty limited, and it's more targetable through paid. So paid advertising on Facebook and Instagram if we're talking about a gym. If we're not talking about digital or social advertising, what I would do is I would create little mini micro events in the local community, right? So I would say, okay, who are our target customer? I obviously don't know your target customer for your gym, but I'll make this up, right? Let's say it's women who are 35 to 40 that are just looking to get a little bit more in shape. They want to feel good about themselves after work. Okay, work backwards and say, well, where do those same people typically go? Oh, they're all working. They're all people who go to work. They have good jobs. They're very, aware of themselves. They want to look good, feel good. They go to these couple of really good coffee shops that are in our area. Great. Go to those coffee shops, create a partnership, and say, hey, guys, why don't we do something where, once a week we're going to do a 30-minute free class. You guys supply the coffee and maybe some something else, a little healthy treat, bananas, whatever. We'll do the class. We'll promote your coffee. Talk to your customers, tell them about it, maybe give them a little, thing once they check out. Hey, come by, get this free thing, come in, we're going to be there. Get them to talk about it, you talk about it, and now you're bringing those people into your facility. Because what's hard with like a gym or something that involves experience is people need to kind of feel it and see it first. You can tell me how cool your gym is, but until I get in there and see why it fits me and why it's cool, I'm probably unlikely to buy. So the easiest thing is to get those people who are in your target audience to actually go and show up. And I think partnerships in your local community are a super easy way, especially smaller businesses, because the coffee shop might be like, oh my God, we can't afford advertising. This is great free advertising for us. It just costs us coffee, which is cheap. Everybody wins, and it's not a competitive brand. Hopefully that makes sense. Hussein, you're the man. Thanks, buddy. No, you're the man. Sean, selling lifestyle products like clothing, accessories, gifts. Okay, we do a lot of this for like big brands, okay? So selling like lifestyle products, clothing, athletic product, endurance sports type stuff. Okay, here's the deal. Facebook targeted advertising, where you start with really good content that is engaging. So like a really good video. Video is key. Images are also key. Show me the products. Show me why this stuff is awesome. Tell me why I need it. Right? Really, really good though, like engaging, like aspirational, make people feel good. Everybody wants that. Target it to the right demographic on Facebook. You can use Insta too, but start with Facebook. Target it to the right demographic who would buy your stuff, right? Drive them to your site, okay? Drive them to the awareness of the video. Retarget people that complete the video. Retarget people who hit the website, okay? With more direct call to action ads, like, oh, here's a product that I think you would like that you should buy. And here it is. Allow them to buy it. That's number one. That's the first piece. The second piece is if you're getting them to your website and there's traffic there for a good reason and they're qualified, then run a contest. Do a giveaway. But don't just give me like a cool shirt. Give me like a cool shirt and a trip to like somewhere awesome. Like if you're talking about like, I don't know, if you're talking about outerwear that's like winter clothing that you would wear in Aspen, well then give me some of that clothing and send me to Aspen, right? So it might cost you a trip, or maybe you can partner with somebody that can give away that in addition to you as part of the partnership. And then you get people to sign up and say, hey, you can win this trip. We're doing this giveaway. Here's our awesome stuff. Something of super high value that people in your demographic would want. Collect those email lists or collect those email addresses from the list. Then use the list for two things once you do the giveaway. One, market back to those people on Facebook and Instagram. Two, create an email drip campaign where you're now saying, hey, sorry you didn't win, but here's a discount for some product if you want to try it out. would love your opinion, follow up with them every month, give them some interesting content. Now you're creating a bit of a loop and a funnel. All right. Timothy, great advice. Put in the work. Yeah, dude, put in the work. Nicole is in here. What's up, Nicole? Melanie Droz, thank you for sharing. Samdeep Gupta, thank you for sharing. Guys, I appreciate you sharing this feed. This is really cool. And while I have you in here, I mean, if you hit the, the subscribe to my channel so you get alerts, I'm going to be doing more of this stuff, more content. Yeah. Joel, appreciate your honesty. Thanks for the time. We'll talk money. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Joel. I appreciate it. Best advice I've ever heard in ages. Hey, man, I hope so. Put it to work. Let me know how it goes. Yeah, look, I mean, I think at the end of the day, regardless of what we're talking about, whether it's specific to one brand or one tactic, at the end of the day, it's really thinking about, like, okay, how do I engage people in a way that's I can still sell stuff? Because at the end of the day, I think there's very two sides to the school of thought that's going on right now. Like, I'm just going to create a bunch of content. I'm going to dump it out there. People will start watching and reading it, and then they're going to become customers. And it's simply not true. Okay? It's a real false narrative that's going around that, like, you just create content, you throw it out into outer space, which is the internet, and then people magically show up and buy your stuff. And they're not going to. They might read it, they might engage, but it's going to be slow, right? So what you have to do is you have to balance out the amount of free content with advertising. Like, here's what I do and why you should care. And you need to actually market it. You need to get it in front of people. If you're just posting on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, a lot of people aren't going to see it. Even if it's awesome, it's going to get buried, right? And so what you need to do is you need to make sure you're getting it in front of the right people. Like, for example, now that we've launched the episodes, the series Growing Bold, where I'm documenting our journey to hit $100 million because I know we can do it. It's going to be crazy. Right? I mean, right now we're early stage, we're like 3 episodes in, so it's not getting that hectic yet, but I can tell you in real life, it's not going to be an easy trip, and I'm going to be transparent about it. But here's the deal. As I'm giving away this content, which hopefully some of you find a little nugget of value in there, right? Or you find it entertaining or interesting or a different perspective, which I appreciate everybody who's watched, by the way. That's so cool that you guys are watching this. But in addition to that, it's based around my business. So you know what I'm doing. You know what I sell. You know what I'm talking about, right? So I don't need to do a hard sell and be like, come and give me your business at Bold. Hire us as your agency. I don't need to do that because my content is completely circular back into what I'm doing and what my business does and why we're different, right? That is the topic. And so for me, my content naturally and organically is the selling point. But if yours isn't, if it's a product, right? If it's a lifestyle brand and you're showing, people out skiing out in, you're showing people skiing out in Aspen because you sell outerwear. That's cool, right? Like, your story might be about, skiing and outerwear in Aspen, right? Because people want to see that, and that's cool and engaging for you and for your brand. But if you just show like cool stories of people skiing in Aspen and you never talk about your brand, then nobody's going to buy your stuff. They might watch your content because it's interesting, but you forget that at the end of the day, marketing is to sell stuff, right? So I like the, you can give it any percentage you want. I like the ballpark, like 80-20 rule. Like 80% of the time, you're giving really valuable, interesting, cool stuff. 20% of the time, you're selling. Or you just work it in where like 80% of the content isn't about you selling anything, but you find a way, like I have, to tell your story that also very much relates back to your product or your brand, right? Because it gets lost really, really quickly if if you're just telling stories organically and you're not actually trying to sell stuff. Cool. Let me get into some more questions here. How do you sell website services through content? You can, but I'll be honest, you can sell a lot more if you just direct business, man. Like, go find companies that have bad websites or bad web service, whatever specifically you do, that clearly need your help, that look like they might be big enough to be qualified for whatever price level that you do. Call them up, send them a LinkedIn message, and do something up front where, hey, listen, I was looking at your site. I've analyzed it. Here's a couple things that we noticed I think you can improve on. You don't even have to do that from us. It's just free advice, from what we're thinking. But if this sounds like something that at least aligns with your method of thinking, I'd love to jump on a 5-minute call and talk to you about it a little bit further. Dude, if you do that over and over and over and over again, you'll get a lot of business. Honestly, I would just go that route. Like, the content's cool, but you got to have a bigger, longer-term vision. If you're just trying to get sales, just do sales. All right. Do you do your own SEO or do you sub it out? We do it in-house. I got a team. Andrew Lee. I also don't think SEO is as powerful as it used to be, by the way. I think it's saturated, Bobby. Andrew Lee, when you first started your agency, what was the strategy that worked to acquire clients? When I first started the agency, I'd actually just bought out a business partner of mine from a production company I'd started in the early 2000s called 24DP. And so I already had a little bit of a client base. Most of our clients actually were big agencies where we did a lot of production work for them. So obviously they were not our target client, but we had some where we worked directly and did production work from. So we kind of started there, and then some referrals. And then outside of that, I really just started to just realize that I had to get better at sales. I had to start going to meetings, meeting people, going to events, talking to people, asking for business, making calls, connecting on LinkedIn, the basics. I think, by the way, when it comes to sales, man, the basics always work. The basics win. Like, it's really easy to get caught up that there's some like master strategy plan out there that is going to like crush it for your business. The old school, like one-to-one, especially on the B2B side, sales tactics are still the best. Cool. Thanks for that question, by the way. David Lipscomb. What's up, David? Dude, good to see you, man. Good to see you. I know you're out still riding, crushing it on the bike, winning races and stuff. Sorry I haven't been out racing this season, man. It's Bold's been crazy. The tension is there, but I'll get back in shape, man. We'll get some races next 1 or 2 seasons. Good to see you. Ronan, hi, Brian. How would you advertise a new product that people are not familiar with? Ronan, give me some context on what that product is, because it's all relative. Mike, Rosselli, how would you market for local businesses, specifically higher-end restaurants? The budget isn't there for everything you laid out earlier, and with low margin in the industry, I need to show it is worth the amount of energy amount that they are spending. Okay, high-end restaurants. High-end restaurants. Okay, dude, partnerships too, right? Like, figure out, okay, here's the types of clients that typically show up, that buy from us, that show up, spend money, that like our food, that like our restaurant, okay? Where do they also spend their time? I don't know how high-end it is. I don't know where you're located. Is it art galleries? Is it this super high-end gym that this other guy was talking about? Are they there? Okay, right? I would literally go down. I would invite people like one-to-one. Hey, listen, I'd love to invite you. We're doing a little thing. Throw a cocktail hour before you'd normally open. Have people show up, just like free cocktails and a little bit of wine. Do like a wine tasting, right? Again, I don't know your clientele. But if they are the people that like love fine art or something, hey, maybe get an art gallery to do a little 1 hour, 2 hour art installation in your restaurant, and you do the wine and the food, and you do it for an hour, and then you get the people. Obviously, they hopefully stick around. Now they know who you are. They like the food, right? Again, just get people in the door, because people need to take it. If it's good and you have a good experience, once they experience it, they're going to come back, right? And I think the other thing is as well is really making sure that the customers that do come in, your customer service, your customer experience needs to be number one. Because if you walk in and people have an incredible experience and the servers were awesome and the host or hostess was awesome and they killed it, and the owner or the head chef or somebody of importance or looks important, comes out to every table, thanks them, asks them for their name. You guys write that stuff down. The next time you see them, oh, hey, Bill, thanks for coming in again. Really appreciate it. What did you like? What can we do better? It's that kind of customer service that most restaurants never do, even the high-end ones. That's just going to get people to come back in the door and talk about it. David, coach is watching you. Dude, don't watch me right now, man. Don't get me on the bike. Don't get me on the bike. Let's see. Oh, Steven. What's up, Steven? Thanks for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Arthur Norwood, when you bring on a new client, what are the first steps you go through in terms of ad setup? Things you need from the client, etc. Okay. So it obviously depends on the size of the account, the complexity, the execution, the services that we're doing for each client. So it'll vary, right? But typically what we do is we make sure we have an internal onboarding meeting before the client ever talks to us. I mean, we've obviously sold them, but before we have like a bigger conversation with the rest of the team, we do an internal onboarding. So we all are on the same page. Anyone who's going to be working on that account, everyone understands the context of this client, what their expectations are. Then we have an onboarding with the client, with everyone who's going to be involved in the team. So faces to names, we understand any other input they may have. Then we ask for any assets if we need them, pixels, access to IT, maybe our IT or our developers need to get in on something, any access stuff that we need. And then we schedule out like what those next steps are going to be, right? So, okay, like when are we going to touch base next? What are our expectations from you as a client? What are your expectations from us on the next touch point? And we schedule that out so that the expectations are pretty clear as we move forward. All right, thanks for that question. Leo, what's up, Leo? What are your thoughts on influencer marketing? I love influencer marketing, man. Influencer marketing is strong. And I also think it's super underpriced for most people. Obviously if you go out and try to get somebody, you get LeBron to promote your product, it's gonna cost you a lot of money. If you don't need somebody with millions of followers, you can get somebody with 100,000 followers, 50,000 followers, 25,000 followers that actually is engaged, that's actually posting content on a daily basis. I would say the key, though, for influencers is to make sure that they actually align with your product or brand, right? So if it's something that they're already using, that's the best. If it's something they definitely would use, that's even, that's good as well. But I don't just want people who are going to talk about, oh, hey, like, whatever, the skateboard, Tony Hawk's super cool, man, and they're not a skater. Like, I want to find a skater who actually likes Tony Hawk, who's talked about him, who's posted about him before, maybe rides that board to actually be the influencer. It's a bad example, but you get what I'm saying, right? So I think it's really about like finding the right people who are the right fit for the brand and the product to make sure there's alignment there. And then, oh my God, it's amazing because they start to tell your story. I also think, though, as a side note on influencers, communication between the brand and the influencer is key. I hear a lot of the time from influencers or people who are sponsored by big brands who go like, dude, I don't know. They pay me some money, which is cool, and then they just send me stuff. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what they want me to say about it. And having that conversation where you can set expectations of, what we want as a brand, what we want you to do, what we don't want you to do. And then you as the influencer or the influencer can have the conversation. Listen, like, here's my line. Like, I don't want to talk about things in this way. I want it to be organic or whatever. And then you can have an open conversation. Influencer marketing, when it's done right that way, can be super successful and super cost efficient. Joseph Diaz, thanks for posting, man. Hi, thanks for sharing your progress. Really inspiring. Appreciate it, man. How long do you expect to get bold to 100 million? How far are you from reaching that goal? And are you planning to just scaling what you're doing now, or are you changing your business strategy? Great question, man. Look, I'd love to say we'll hit $1 million in 12 months, and obviously we're going to aggressively go after it like that. It's not necessarily realistic, but I say in the next 3 years, for sure, it's definitely realistic. But of course, like, dude, I'm going to go aggressive, like really aggressive. Like, we're going to try to do this in a year. But the reality is, like, let's be honest, I'm not selling myself short. It's going to take a bit more time, right? We're about like a little bit more than, let's see, we've just gotten past the like $5.5, $6 million mark. So we got a ways to go, man, right? We're like closing in on 10 million. But the reality is that most agencies don't make it to 5. So we've made it past like a huge milestone. We'll clearly make it to 10. I mean, dude, I can tell you right now, like, fall over the next few months, we'll be there. And then the next step is obviously like, let's get to 25 and let's hit 50. So I'm realistic in expectations, but dude, I'm going to be aggressive. Like, if we're going to do this, I'm telling the story, we're going all in. But realistically, like, dude, if we can do it in 2 or 3, that'd be awesome. If I can do it in 1 year, well, and then you'll be hearing about me in a lot of other places. So that's the real goal. All right. Leo, do I utilize it? Yeah, I use influencer marketing for some of our clients. I've even used it for us. So I have like entrepreneur accounts on Instagram that sometimes will share my stuff, cut deals. It definitely helps engagement, helps visibility. And it's a fit. It's good. Rashida, thank you for your post. Hi, I'm a florist. I'm a small boutique. It has been a year since we started, and we usually do events, but I'd love to increase our walk-ins. Can you help me there? Okay. Been a year since we started. Usually do events. Increase walk-ins. Ooh, a florist. This one's interesting, actually, man. Here's actually, okay. Well, I'll answer from 2 ways, right? So this isn't direct walk-ins, but I think it will lead to walk-ins. Okay, so what I would do is I would look in your local area on Facebook, in forums, local papers, Instagram posts, and I would search for people that just got engaged, that are like really local type to your community. And I would call them up, instant message, direct message them, tweet at them, whatever, and say, hey, listen, so you just got engaged. You know, no strings attached. I would love to give you some flowers for whatever. Obviously, you may or may not say, hey, I'll give you all your wedding flowers. That might cost you a lot of money, but maybe there's something that you can do like, hey, for engagement photos or for something else, or you just send them some beautiful flowers as a gift, as a thank you. Because if you can get them in that moment and they're like, oh my gosh, this place totally took care of us. In our moment, they reached out to us. Like, how did you even know that I got engaged? Because you did your homework, you searched on social, you looked at the announcements locally, right? And then you're giving them something away up front. Not everyone's going to hire your business, but the ones that do are going to become super fans. And honestly, you're the ones that got there first. So you were the first person there that they're thinking of when they're thinking of a florist, right? And so events, that kind of stuff, maybe big birthdays, big events, just that, right? Like just that engagement. That will increase. Like now they're going to talk about you. They're going to mention to their friends. Maybe they post about it on social, which will lead to more awareness. As far as more walk-ins, I mean, you could do localized Facebook ads that are targeted to people who have had a life change. So just got engaged in the last week. Target those people. Just had or be getting, going to be 50 years old in, the next month, and target those people and say, hey, give them a good offer, give them a good deal, or just an awareness that you exist. That'll create more walk-ins for sure. Hopefully that's helpful. Ronan, type of insurance, what new type of insurance that provides the client a lawyer in case of traffic violation? I don't know, bro. That's not my area of expertise, man. Traffic violations insurance, I don't know, dude. I don't know. That is not business marketing, but definitely legal violations, moving violations, not my expertise. I try to avoid those. Thanks, David, man. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the kind words there. Can you help me getting more leads for my agency? Put out your work, man. Case studies, targeted Facebook ads, LinkedIn messages. Here's a tip. I got to get off here in a couple minutes. I actually went a little longer than I intended, but this was a lot of fun. So here's the last tip I'll leave you with before I wrap this up, okay? When you're reaching out to people, right? A lot of you seem to be in the B2B space. I get, no joke, I get hundreds of emails, LinkedIn messages a day, okay? Most of them are B2B salespeople that want me or my agency to buy something. Software, analytics, whatever, right? Name the thing, okay? HR, everything, dude. Everything, everybody's reaching out for me, IT. And I would say 99, maybe 99.5% of the time of all the people that reach out to me totally cold, and they send me like 6 paragraphs. Hey, Brian, thanks for connecting. I work at a blah, blah, blah IT company, and we do X, Y, and Z, and we're really good at it. And I noticed that your website's SEO sucks, and blah, 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 and here's 45 things that I would do, and here's 17 things. I'd like to set up a call. Can we set up a call for 30 minutes? Here's my cell phone. Here's my email. You know what I do with all of those messages? Every single one, delete. I don't read them, dude. I don't read them. If I have to scroll on my phone, your message is too long, especially with cold outreach. The messages on LinkedIn, cold emails that actually work, 2 sentences, man. 2 sentences. Like, here's why I connected with you, and like maybe if you know them or have a mutual contact, that's sentence 1. Sentence 2 is your value prop in why you want to talk with them further. Not, I'm going to solve all your problems and tell me about the services that I've got. Hey, I noticed this, or I saw this on your site, or I saw an article about your company, or I really love what you just did with XYZ. And I just wanted to chat for 5 minutes to tell you a little bit about what we're doing because I felt like it aligned, or something. I mean, dude, I got a million of them, but something like that where you are being really blunt, to the point. You're still telling them you want to talk about business, and you got to stick to that unless they want to give you more of their time. But you're also telling them like why you connected, not just because I like randomly searched you out on LinkedIn and I'm spamming you like the other 100 people that I just copy pasted this to. As soon as people see that, as soon as guys like me see that, anybody else, as soon as you see that, you delete it. You're not doing business with those people. Make it personal, make it fast, straight to the point. Don't overthink it. Do a little research, know something about the person if you don't actually know them. That's it. And then just get in front of people. Anyway, I really, really appreciate you all tuning in. This is awesome. I'll have to do a little bit more of these. If you liked it, let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what you think about the new content. I'd love your feedback. And I thank you all for watching this. And thank you all for watching the other videos and stuff we're doing. So make sure to follow me on Instagram, YouTube, obviously on Facebook, @BoldCEO. It's everywhere. Anyway, be good. Go kick some ass, guys. Thank you so much.